Hello, everyone. Good morning, and from my end, and welcome to One Global Movement, Building Hopes and Dreams. I am really so sorry. I apologize for this kind of lateness. It is because of a reason. One of the fathers that I go and help, who doesn't have a family, was really sick, and he didn't want to go to the hospital, but I could not just sit there and go along with that. So I had to convince him, and I took him into the emergency. So we are right here in the hospital in the emergency. So I left him in the hands of the doctors and the nurses to come out here to do this. So please bear with me, and if possible, let us do it in time, and we get out of here so I can continue to take care of him. If they're going to discharge him, I still have to take him home and stay with him for some time, please. So thank you so much. We must take care of our own. This is what we are talking here about in One Global Movement. So we must take care of our own, first beginning with us, our homes, and our environment, our neighbors. So this is what is happening here. So thank you guys so much for being here. Let me send Melanie in. Welcome, Melanie. Thank you so much for joining us here. So we're going to begin right away, and we're going to begin always with our prayer. The prayer for the whole week. God needs to cover us all the time, and our children and everyone. Oh, wow. I'm so happy. Everyone is here. Yes, I'm so happy. So I was just telling the audience and Sister Yvonne that I'm right here in the emergency. I brought a father here to help, a Caucasian father who doesn't have a family. So he's really sick, and I have to take care of him. Charity begins at home, like we always say. And after this, I will take him home and stay with him because there's nobody to help him. He's 84 years old, and so I have to do that. So we're going to begin right away, ladies and gentlemen. We, as always, it's the best thing we can ever do is to commit ourselves, commit this cause, commit our children, our young people and women, commit all families in the hands of the Creator. Without the Creator, we will never be able to do anything. And at least that's the way that I was brought up. And all these women that you see here, that's exactly the same way. We are the same way. So we're going to, whatever you say or whatever you want to do, or you want to just listen to this prayer, please let us do that, and to cover all of us and our children for the whole week. So let us say a word of prayer here.
Okay. I will listen, sister. Go ahead.
Okay. Heavenly Creator, the source of all love and justice, we come before you united in one heart, one purpose, and one global movement, seeking your divine intervention to break the chains of gender-based violence that has bound women, girls, and young people for far too long. Lord, we lift up the voices of those silenced by fear, the hands trembling from oppression, and the hearts wounded by injustice. We ask for your strength to transform pain into power, and for your light to guide the world out of darkness and into dignity. Grant wisdom and courage to leaders, policymakers, and communities to enact laws, uphold equality, equity, and protect the vulnerable, particularly women and young girls, and children and young people. Empower advocates, activists, and every soul who dare to speak out, especially those of us here in One Global Movement, who dare to speak out to be fearless instrument of your peace and liberation. Bless the women and young people fighting for their freedom and safety, Lord. Fill them with resilience, grace, and hope so they may rise above their circumstances as living testimonies of triumph. May they know they are not alone, but supported by a global family dedicated to their healing and the promise of a violence-free world. We in One Global Movement declare an end to cycles of abuse, a dismantling of harmful systems, and a new era of respect, equality, and love. Through this movement, may your vision of a just and compassionate world manifest in every home, street, school, and nation. Lord, let every step we take in our service to the world reflect your heart. Let every voice we raise be an anthem of change. And let every woman, every young girl, and young people live in the freedom and dignity that you have ordained for all of us. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Amen.
Melanie,
Amen.
go ahead and do your thing. Today is your day. And please, if we can, bear with me. We'll leave a little early so that I can go take care of that father.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. The
Welcome,
topic
sister.
was, yes, the topic was how to prevent the gender-based violence, or how can one global movement prevent the gender-based violence. Am I right?
Yes. What can one global movement do to prevent the gender-based violence? Yes, you're right.
Okay. So one global movement has a very big work to do. It's not easy to prevent this gender-based violence, but it is also possible.
Yes.
The gender-based violence is a violation of human rights, actually. Considering all what we have seen, it's a violation of human rights that affects women and girls disproportionately. Even though it affects everyone in the society, men also, we have seen that men also can be affected somehow, but most of the time, women and girls are targeted with this violence. So it can take many forms and is present in every society around the world. The risk of gender-based violence increases during crisis, different conflicts, natural disaster, and even in wars. You find that these are basically the most elements that pushes this violence to happen in each societies. So I was actually looked at what can be the ways that one global movement can use to try to prevent this. One global movement cannot be in all societies of the world, but there are something that we can do if we put our efforts together to reach out there, to speak, so that our voice may be understood and see what we can do to protect women and girls who are violated everywhere. We can empower women and girls across their lifetime by keeping girls in school. I saw if we keep girls in school, it can be somehow protective for them. Empowering women economically, using feminist approach to tackle gender inequality, including in their homes. We can also look at how to empower women and girls with safe space, if possible. Giving women cash support. This is something that we look at in order to help them create some supportive jobs that can help them to bring income in their homes. We can also engage male allies, including women in decision-making at leadership levels. We have seen that women are most of the time excluded in decision-making, and this affects them in the society where they will feel somehow neglected. And we find that men comes to in dominion upon them. We can also support local women-led and women's rights organizations, if possible. We can also support victims and survivors with their families. Promote economic security for living for women and girls living in dangerous situations. We can also look at how to avoid gender stereotypes. I'm French speaking, so you bear with me if you don't understand how I pronounce things. So challenge unfair social expectation, such as the idea that men must be taught to be the main decision makers. This is a very big challenge for women. We can also transform gender norms, put in place work that transform attitude, norms, and behaviors that perpetuate violence against women and girls. We can also look at how to improve legislation, work with people who put policies in place and see how they can improve legislation and policies to prevent domestic violence. And also look at collaborate with religious leaders and traditional leaders to anchor universal principles in the local context. We can also launch campaign to raise awareness about this violence so that everyone in the society may know about it and the consequences that comes from it. We can also cooperate with NGOs, media, and private sector to support in the education of the population so that they may be aware of the consequences that comes from gender-based violence. There are so many things that can be done. Each and everyone can bring what can be done. But this is, I may say, there are what we call fléaux in French. That's something that has become a burden to all societies. So we need to stand up, to speak, to shout and cry, to see how these things can stop, because many women are affected. If you look at the societies where we live, I always spoke about the developing countries. It is very worse. It's worse in our societies. If you look at how women live, the condition of poverty, and you find how they are violated in their homes, it is very dangerous. And it's very, really sad because children becomes victim being in such place. I have met quite a number of children, street children. Some, when you talk with, you ask some, why did you leave your home? The feedback that they give you is that I didn't get peace at home. Mom and dad fight all the time. So the best way to do is to leave and go. You find them sleeping in the road, sleeping in the bush, without education, very bad life. And it's very sad. It's very sad. So we need to stand up and shout as we can to see if these things can stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sister Yvonne, you are unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, no, very well said, sister. Absolutely. We use our voices first. That's the first thing. We must be aware and make others aware as best we can. And it starts right where we are with our one voice, because it's not a problem that's going to be solved from the top down and just overnight. It's just, and the thing is, we have to admit and, advocate for the idea that it's global. It's not any one certain spot. So let's not just, put, many people are trying to act as if it's over there. It's right where we are, right around us. But if we don't notice it and say anything about it, then we go on with this delusion that it's not in our area. But it's there, right? It is there. Just, okay, maybe the children are not willing to live in the bushes, but they're on the street. And then that just perpetuates the cycle because, I was going to say especially for women, but John will beat me up. So for girls too, we're just going to expose them to more abuse because the young girls, they're going to get involved with abusers, and the cycle just goes on because of the lack of things we're talking about, the resources, the education, safe spaces to even think what they want to do. Because as you said, the children are saying they didn't stay home because there's no peace. I didn't think any child, especially in these winter countries, I don't think any child wants to really end up on the street, do they? They don't. So it must be so much more terrible at home for them to actually leave and go. I see them in Canada. Well, Melanie knows. In the US, they have it winter too. They have the heat things in the street, and they tend to gather closely there, dirty, unsafe. But they also don't want to go into some of these supposed shelters because they also meet abuse there. So it becomes a vicious cycle. And so if we look at it at that overwhelming, far-reaching out, we won't do anything because we'll just get stagnant. We just think, what can we do? Overwhelmed, right? But one by one by one by one by one. using our voices, using our awareness, and calling it out whenever we see it, right? Of course, we need the economy as well. We need money as well. So raising awareness, those campaigns that we talk about, I think Sister Melanie talked about that. Raising funds, however we can. That is one issue that funds should be raised for. And then we support the ones who are already doing it. We find out the good places that are already ahead of us, and we support those. So that's my contribution for now, sister. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you unmute yourself, please, Melanie?
I'm smiling because I'm waiting for you. Thank you. Thank you. I know you're on a short time, Sister Yvonne. So yes, what about being our brother's keeper in this life?
Yes.
Our brother's keeper. We sometimes we mention it, but are we really doing it? I'm not saying we, like
Yeah, I
in
know what you
cliche.
mean.
Yes, but being our brother's keeper, like we have to be actively supportive of, when someone comes to us in confidence about something, and they're being bullied, they're being shown because of gender, and in the workplace too it happens. Even if we complete programs after programs at work, I see it all the time. And that's one thing I always said: I will stand up. They can let me go, I don't care, because we are in this life. We didn't put ourselves there. We are free, and we were put there by the Almighty. So I am going to serve Him, and Him alone will I serve.
So,
And please, as long as I do my duty, I'm fine. But it's not only myself here. So I'm just saying that one part, because right now I'm at war with them. I don't care. I'm at war with them because honestly, I don't like what I'm seeing. And yeah. Anyhow, being our brother's keeper, it can be very useful because we have someone we can turn to, someone we can confide in by a phone call, by maybe messaging, and then that person at least can have an assurance that they're being heard. They can open up. And then that person that they're confiding in should not take it anywhere because this is confidential. All right. A lot of times in this life, we forget what confidentiality is. You keep it there because they trust you. Okay. And that's one of the things that is safety for that very own person. Another thing we can do is to promote flyers. Flyers, put them everywhere. We can drop them at the supermarket, drop them. People always, where there's heavy traffic, people always go there. In church, as Sister Melanie said, even in the schools and in the public, there's many places we can keep flyers in, regarding sorry, gender, the gender thing. All right. And that way people will be aware, because people know, but they are not made aware because they're minding their own in this life. They're just going by, and maybe they have their own things to think of. But when they stop to get a flyer and they read through, maybe that is resonating with that person who picks up the flyer. That's how we touch people. All right. And again, Sister Melanie mentioned about the campaign. I was going to say thank you. She said that already, so I don't have to repeat. But supportive services such as visiting, if we know someone in a shelter, we truly know them, and then they have spoken to us, we can probably ask to visit them, maybe go to the shelter and even speak with other women if they allow that. Because we don't have to have a certificate really to do our due diligence in this life.
Yes.
Many times we are shy because we think that person is certified. How did they get certified? They just went to school and take a crash course sometimes. Once we have, our resources, once we look it up, we research it, we can help someone. Because we all are our brother's keeper, the way I look at this life. And if we don't help each other, then we're, it's like a puff of air. Yeah.
Wasting time.
Yeah.
I just like to interject that a lot of these shelters now, at least I find so, they do have websites and they do have outreach. So if they are wanting your email or whatever it is, so they can tell you what's needed at the time. That's how I'm doing my support, right? sometimes you get way too much information, and
Yeah.
you tend to get a little bit. You're thinking, I can't help all of that, but then I take my own lesson and I just go back to what I can do. Right? They're
Yeah.
asking for this and for this, and that and that, whatever it is. But something, it just really does start with one person doing what they can do. The whole world is not going to do it for us. It's us.
Okay.
We are. So I'm glad when they tell me how I can help. I love that, because then you know exactly what to do. Is it money? Do they need clothes? Do they need
Yeah.
medical supplies? Whatever it is, you find a way of doing it, and you know that you're making one little step forward. That's how it's going to be, right? The
Yeah.
government is not going to turn around and focus it on that one thing, because their job is to get elected, get in power, make money. We're not going to change that, and we shouldn't waste our energy with that. Waste our energy with helping the people who are suffering right now on the ground.
Another thing I want to add in, Sister Yvonne's, the two, and Mel. uh, we have the brothers too, even the younger children, the boys, to the men.
Yeah.
These people are being abused, and it's I want to cry. They are silent, and sometimes they want to come out and talk to someone, but who can they trust?
I know.
Can they trust? Because we talk about the women. Yes, we are the most abused ones. We are the most vulnerable and whatever have it. But there are lots of young males who are being shunned because of their gender and because of what they have endured. And they stay silent. No wonder why we have so many suicides that are not being spoken of. We need to do something. We need to get out there. We don't have to be saying, look at me, going out there everywhere, but we have to start somewhere. The world is hurting. Our people, our brothers, our sisters, they're hurting. Small up to medium, up to, the older ones, they're hurting.
Yes.
So we really have to step out. If we don't do anything, then nothing will happen.
Yep, that's
Yes.
all right. That's all right.
You hesitated to say older ones, but look at the recent things we had recently, since it was most exposed right around COVID. Remember when they were talking about the long-term care, where the older people are, and how much abuse was discovered there. So it goes across all age range and socioeconomic. Abuse is happening everywhere, all around us. All around us.
And I really thank you guys so much, because we're speaking here from the heart. We're not going by the book at all,
No,
because we're speaking here from our experiences, from what we
yes.
see, what we witness, because that is the most important thing. Because if we're going by the book does not work in a situation like this. Melanie from Rwanda said, it is possible. It is possible, regardless of how big the world is. It is possible. It starts with us, small like this. And one global movement, we might think that we are small. We can make an impact. You guys are in Canada. I'm in the United States. Some are in Cameroon. Some are in Rwanda. All of us scattered all over the world can make an impact. And how do we do that? We start by getting some of these women that have been affected, and these young people, including men, everyone now is included anyway. But because we are focusing here on the woman, we can start doing something. And the education that we are talking about, it's real education, not by the book, not taking an exam, not giving certification. Education with love, education that comes from the heart, that says, I was created free, as a free human being by the Creator, that I was created to impact the world. That women and children, when I say these things, I almost want to cry all the time, because it really hurts. It hurts a lot, because a lot of people are dying, like you say, they're committing suicide a lot, but no one is paying attention. And these things are even perpetrated by the powers that be. And because if stringent rules and regulations are put in place, I bet you nobody will be committing this kind of crimes against this population, or this vulnerable, and our young girls, look at young girls, they end up being destroyed. They cannot have children, and mentally they are not okay. and they don't even know who they are. And you see them, you think, oh, what is wrong with this one? Yes, there is something wrong. There is something actually wrong that we are not paying attention to. But thank God that we have been brought here together by Mr. Ash Mufara to do the right thing, to be the real correction to the corruption. Not
Yes.
talking about money. Because if we are not mentally well, we are not physically well, that money means nothing. And it starts with the
Yes.
love, genuine love, that to say, I'm going to love this child. I'm going to love this mother. I'm going to love this girl, this boy. I'm going to love this person regardless of whatever it is. I've got to do it. And it is right around us. Right around us. We see even in our homes, some kids are
Yes.
being abused by their own parents,
Yes.
sexually abused by their own parents, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they just glide it aside, and the excuse is, oh, they're mentally sick. What are we doing? If we're building these institutions to try to help, or foster care system where even there is more abuse, like you guys already said, there is more abuse there, nobody's paying attention. We here in One Global Movement, we are going to dig our heels in and said, we're going to help. We're not going to fight anybody, but we're going to go in with love. A lot of children, a lot of families have lost trust and confidence in, or a lot of us and
Yeah.
organizations. So
Yes.
we need to come in now to say, oh, let me watch out. Like Melanie said, we are our brother's keepers. Let me watch out. Oh, why is Yvonne angry today? Why is Melanie angry today? Two Melanie, two Yvonne. Why are we? What is wrong? Instead of coming to say, oh, she's just being mean, she's just being bad. No, a lot of time, if you observe well, using your natural psychology, not the psychology that is being written by some people, is written by them. What is your own psychology? The natural psychology is there. What is your own? What is my own? So what do you see? What can we do about these things? Is what we are talking here about. And I thank God that we are already doing that here in One Global Movement, because a lot of us are contributing in our own different ways in our own communities, because that is where it begins. And so
Yes,
we
it
will
is.
continue to do this, and we must never relent our efforts, because we empty out ourselves and say, before I exit this life, we must do something. And the kind of education we are talking about is a home, because the three most important things in life is what? Food, shelter, and clothing, the basic necessities. We're building a home where we're not just going to be say, here, read this book and go and pass this exam. No, we are, what can this person do? Because if you even educate somebody or you help somebody, then you don't help them to continue. They will fall back in the same place, because they will be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Think about the wars that happen. It happens in Cameroon. It happened
Mm-hmm.
right even above my mother's home, where one of one of my cousin's son was killed. You know, where
Mm-hmm.
these armies, they go into communities, they abuse young people, they abuse
Mm-hmm.
children, they abuse women, and
Yes.
force them. They don't accept those things, but you force them. I've seen it in my own country of birth, and I see it everywhere. It is everywhere. In my Melanie might say in developing countries, it is worst sometimes in developed countries, but it goes in
Mm-hmm.
different levels, different degrees, different magnitudes. But there is
Yeah.
always something to be done. Always something
Always,
to be
always,
done.
always.
And that is what we are calling for. We are pleading, we are urging. We are going to be carrying out a lot of campaigns. I so love what you talk about, flyers. We
Mm-hmm.
doing those things, making sure we all, it is a continuous thing, not today and don't do it tomorrow. You go somewhere,
No,
you put
no.
a flyer. You go somewhere, you put a flyer. OGM, this, you can call, you can do whatever. And we are here. You guys see us. You can call Sister Yvonne in Canada. You can call Sister Melanie in Canada. You can call Sister Melanie in Rwanda. You can call me in Cameroon or United States, but you can call me all over the world. We
Yeah.
are all over the world. Please, don't ignore. If it's not happening to you, don't ignore what is happening to another person. Let us be the voice, the spiritual voices for these children. What we are doing here, we are crying. Women crying for their families, women crying for their children, because this is a cry. We're supposed to be talking in a different light, but it is happening, and it's going to continue if we do not play our part here. So I really thank you guys so much for this. I thank the audience so much. And
Yeah.
you guys have anything, keep on contributing. I think I still have a little time before they come outside here.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just going to say, I'm sorry, I have to budge in. I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, for example, we have the seaside or the water side. You know, by the water side, people reflect a lot, right? Or on the trees,
Yes.
because that's how the musicians get their little feet, right? When they're alone by the water, the wave is swishing. You have a group of people, whether it's two, whether it's three, and you take them, you know they're probably going for a challenge. What about a little time out with them? And just start, we joke around, and then you go into the conversation slowly,
Hmm.
but not directly to them. We have to have tactics when we're doing it. And
Yes.
then, by them looking at the waves, the waves, how they swish, the water swishes through the sand and how the waves come, their mind will start thinking, oh, we are not alone. We have other things out there that we can
Yeah.
really enjoy. Instead of me, I know I am abused. I know I am shunned, but you know what? Thank you for that trip, that little trip down by the lakeside or by the seaside. Or even, I'll give you an example, like last week. That's twice in a row I've been to the States. So I was feeling beat. It can happen to any one of us. I'm at work. But when you're working, that doesn't mean you're making so much money. I'm at work and I'm feeling beat. And my friend asked me to go. I had planned it already with her and then I put it off.
Yeah.
Then I was putting it off again. She said, no, 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 Sister Mel, she's from Cameroon. I'm coming. I'm gonna spend the night by you because she comes once in a while. And then she said, no, no, we're going to take care of that. I will look after you. So we went. And I went on that trip and we run into people. We went in some big church, a big cathedral. We took the mass there, even if I go anywhere where God is, except, who.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so we spoke with people in there, women as well, So this is how you run into people and this is how we can change. You don't change the people yourself, but that is how we can put a little bit of a oomph or change certain things about what's
Yeah.
happening in this life because somebody will listen to you and they say, oh, wow, you know, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's a deep breath for them. So
Right.
by little things we do, people are noticing and they're steeping it in, and that's how we help each other.
It is.
You know,
Yes,
Exactly.
yeah,
I so love the
nice.
beauty of the waves of the ocean. I so
Mm-hmm.
love that because the beauty, water is life in the first place. Water is life. When you see the waves of the ocean, there's a lot of great things there. They might be combined, but most of the part, for the most part, they are good things. The waves of the ocean is a symbol of unity. These things are united together regardless of where you come from, regardless of what you know, regardless of your bank account, regardless of the color of your skin. That is the symbol of the beauty of the waves of the ocean. People don't understand this, and that's why you see a lot of people go there. Like me, I have a little lake behind my home. I just go there, like I can't even hear somebody coming because I'll just be buried in there, and I'll be thinking, imagining all of these things that they're going into my head, and even the animals. I will sit there. These things, and we train, and we make these people our friends. Anyway, we make them our friends. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I said, take it slowly and gradually, and not pinpointing because we all go through all of these things in one way or the other. And so I think that's such a beautiful thing. And nature is what we take to help these people.
Yeah.
We
Mm-hmm.
were made from the soil. The soil comes with the trees, the stones, the water, the everything.
All of it.
We were made from there. And from there, we shall also go there. And these are the things that are going to help us. That is a call to a return back to nature. Let us
Yeah.
all return back to nature as the only source of healing, as the
Yeah.
only source of healing. And this is so beautiful. So thank you guys so much. I think I'm being called here, and
Okay.
I
All
think you
right.
guys can go ahead. And if you want to read the audience thing, that's good too.
I think they like to hear from you, sister. So we will just thank everybody and do the closing, please. Okay. She's saying that she's actually on the phone. I know that they will agree with us here. I don't know. I don't want to be reading everybody's name because they don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from Sister Mundih. That's why
Okay,
they're
10
here.
minutes. 10 minutes. I've been given to, I tell them to be
Okay, my
out this
dear. Well, then
minute.
go ahead. Do
So
your
I
reading.
really love to appreciate our wonderful audience because they
Exactly. And they
inspire
love to
us
hear
a
from you.
lot.
So please go
They
ahead.
inspire us a lot. Thank you so much, our our pillar in the house, Mr. Ashok Kumar. We highly appreciate you, sir. And of course, our managing director, who is always there taking all the heat all the time, John, especially me. I really like to pick on you. But thank you so much for really tolerating me.
Thank
And
you, John.
thank you again. And we highly appreciate you for always uniquely welcoming our audience here. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sister Yvonne, for doing all what it takes, being that big sister in the house that nobody has to mess around, always cleaning the house, making sure that things are where they're supposed to be. And with all that great experience, we highly appreciate you.
Thank
And
you,
then,
sister. Thank you.
yes. And then we have Dawn, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Don. If you're new here, you are highly welcome into this beautiful family. We are here together, and we thank God for Mr. Ash Mufara, as always, for bringing us together. Otherwise, we will not have this kind of entourage and this kind of audience that we have here. So thank you so much. And of course, our beautiful sister Nancy, thank you so much. And just so you guys know, we are working on things. The global ambassadors, the children ambassadors, they want to appear here, especially on Christmas Day. Some of them that can, especially because of the internet, they want to take the stage. So some of them are going to be here. Those that cannot be here, I asked them if they can catch a glimpse of the internet, they can record something short, and then we can then play it for everybody to listen and watch. So yes, and we're working on that. It's a lot of work. Pretty soon I will extend the work out to some, especially to Sister Yvonne, who is a professional editor. And you guys, if you know anything, because we're gonna do it. What do the One Global Movement ambassadors do? They're going to do it based upon those roles that we treated before. And Melanie, in Rwanda, if you have any kids that you should have a lot that can be part of the ambassadors here, both the senior and junior ambassadors of children, so they can also participate here. We want to be able to empower every child because we want to bring out that greatness in them. We don't want them to think that they have nothing to offer, because they have everything to offer to the world. So,
okay.
And yes, thank you. This is our link, guys. Every time like you come here, please do well to like it. Always put those big thumbs up. Sometimes I do forget when I watch other things, but I have made it a commitment that I will always do that, because when you do that, you're also opening some avenues for One Global Movement so that we can have the resources. The same here, if you go to our page, always like it, please. Please do that. Thank you so much. And we have Juanita Slack here. How are you, sister? Thank you so much for joining us. We highly appreciate you. And especially this time of the year, where this is the most happiest time of the year, time of gratitude, time of reflection, time of paying it forward, time of great things. Let us do it the best way, not just buying things for children. What can we do? Handmade craft, writings, something. Don't go and buy a card, because the children can do it themselves. They are very, very gifted. They are very artistic in that. So let us not keep buying. Why not One Global Movement something, so that the kids can also hopefully learn and do their own? We want these kids to be the builders of this One Global Movement, because they know what to do. Yes, thank you. And thank you, David. How are you? Thank you so much for being among us here today. We highly appreciate you. Sir Kayanderi, we appreciate you, sir, for your support and your love for children and women worldwide. And let's go down here. We have Maria. Maria Joss, how are you? Thank you so much, sister. You guys might not know what you're doing here is it's really, really doing great things in the world. You guys don't know. It's shifting the dynamics. Let us continue to do it, but do it to yourself first and to your own immediate family before you come here and do it. Take good care of yourself, because we are in this for the long haul. 150 years, that's how long we're going to live. So think about what you're going to fit into those 100, because I'm going to live for 150 years.
Okay, sister.
Myself into the universe, everything before I can go, right? And I know that God knows that already. And
say hello to Cheryl Best, please.
Okay, Cheryl Best. How?
Okay.
Did I miss it?
Yes, you did. It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's okay.
right here.
Yeah.
Cheryl. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, I couldn't have missed this. But thank you so much because I'm doing this. I'm thinking about
I
the
know you are. It's okay. I'm
thank
here.
you so much, sister, for being a part of us here today. We have
Exactly.
Cecile Wire. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of us here today. We highly appreciate you. And I want to thank you, Sister Yvonne, because your eyes are better than mine. I have 4 eyes, but for some reason, I don't seem to see things well, you know. Thank you so much. And then we have Sanib Mina. How are you, Mina? Thank you so much for being a part of us here today. This month is such a powerful month that we have a lot. We were supposed to talk about shadow adoption as one of the programs for One Global Movement, but because of too many programs internationally, we didn't do that. But we're going to go back
Yes.
and talk about it before the end of the year. So
Okay.
this is going to be beautiful. And David here, I'm really forced to read what you have to say, David, because I'm curious about picking on your brain. Education so people don't get in those situations anymore. Choose better dates and mates. Stay aware. Don't let the abuser keep pushing boundaries. Stop it before they think it's okay. Many ways, I think. Thank you, David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will go back to read those ways. And David again says, better parenting. Kids having kids leads to stupid. Yes. And it's sometimes it can be difficult to fix stupid if we don't catch it so young. People need to actually raise their kids instead of letting them run feral. I will tell you of a little lesson that I just learned right inside of the hospital here with the father, the 84-year-old that I'm taking care of. He said, most of the parents, including me, all of us, most of the parents, they are letting their kids, they are not raising their kids. They are controlling their kids. They are not trying to raise them. They are not focusing on what the child knows, what the child has been gifted with. They are trying to push and force their own way of life onto those children. They end up ruining those children. But then he said, grandparents, I guess because they must have learned the lesson. Grandparents, they are focused on raising their grandchildren.
It's true.
Rather than controlling. And I accepted it so well because my grandmother was so focused on raising me. Everything that you see within me here today, after Almighty God, I owe it largely to my grandmother.
Sure.
Yes.
Exactly.
So true. So
And it's what you're always saying.
that.
It's what you're always saying. When you know better, you do better. So as you said,
Yes.
they have now watched what they've done to the direct children, but then by the time they get to the grandchildren, they've learned something else, and they think, rather than trying to force this on the grown-up kids, which they're not going to want to accept, I guess, they just go for the grandkids. And it's true. I see that a lot too.
Yep. And I think we all are in that same, that's what I'm going to be doing, because as a mother, you're trying to learn. You realize that with age and time, those experiences now come together. Now you begin to then spoil the grandchildren with a lot of beautiful things, you know.
Yeah, but you can still raise them to be strong, sensible people, even though you give them things. Yes.
And thank God that we're going to be doing this together here.
Yes.
Sir Medan, how are you, sir? Thank you so much for being a part of us here today. And thank you for loving children worldwide. We appreciate you. And Don Siwat says, one thing when you are dating a person, visit his or her home life and see how the parents treat each other. That is so true. And we're going to be coming to those things, dating games and all of those things here, so that we all can hopefully contribute from our different experiences and perspective, because a lot of the kids now, they don't know how to date because society has pre-programmed them to do things in a way that doesn't come naturally to them. And so we want to be able to talk about that. And Sir Ojala, how are you? Thank you for being a part of us here. And hashtag Gutam Halda, hashtag on passive. Thank you so much, Gutam. Thank you. And we have Sir Aki. Thank you for being a part of us here today, sir. We highly appreciate it. Of course, our beautiful, beautiful sister, big sister, Sister Pat is here today and always contributing highly from her experience. Because when you read what she writes, you know she knows. Because of our experience, we highly appreciate you, sister, and happy holidays to you and everyone here. Hashtag on passive, Patricia Parang, hashtag succeed beyond, of course. And let's go. Nancy says, this is a great topic. We have to share it to the world by pressing the big thumbs up, okay? Subscribe if not yet done. Turn on the notification bell. Share with families and friends. We will be making a difference in the world. Thank you so much. She too is bilingual. A lot of people know too many languages here. I'm jealous right now. All right, let's go down here. Our brother from the sunny Pretoria, Brother Levi Mamabolo, thank you so much for being that great support here for our women and children off and on sin. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I love that equation, Yvonne and Melanie. What equation? You guys did a beautiful equation there. That's good.
I guess it's twice. It's twice. You realize that, right? 2 Yvonnes,
Oh,
2
twice. Isn't that beautiful? Everything happens for a good reason. And we are on the same level. Look, twice. I think I'm going to take a picture here and write something about that, about the twice.
Wow, here we go.
Yes, it's such a beautiful thing. Big smile. Let me see. All right, let me keep going. And yes, it's happening in the family homes every day. Sister Pat says, must stand up for all children to make the changes to the world. I believe we must share our stories to help one person to know they will be okay. And this is so true. Every child, we need to stop the division, the discrimination, the putting down of children to think that this one is better than this one. Children all over the world, they don't think like that. They don't. A child sees another child, they are so much in tune into that child, and they get along immediately. Unless they are being corrupted by the parents or the caregivers. Children are so pure, they know how to love even better than us. So let us learn from them and do the same. Thank you so much, sister. And let's go down here. Yusuf Adu, thank you so much, sir, for being a part of us here today. We highly, highly appreciate you. And of course, our big brother, Mr. Joseph Nkefo, is here to support us. Thank you, sir, for being here. And he is somebody with a lot of children and a big family, and he knows, and he has served the world a lot and traveled a lot. He has a lot of experiences to share with us. We are waiting for that day, sir, that you will come here and also contribute on the stage here if you can for our children. Thank you so much. Okay, he says, I'm sorry, I have been away for a few days and need to catch up on OGM. Please share and subscribe. It's okay. Because you need to take care of yourself. We know that whether you're here or you're not, we know your heart towards children. So we thank you so much. And let's go down here. I'm just hurrying here, okay, so I don't get another phone call again.
Yes, we know, sister.
Okay, I think we come to the end here. If I missed your name, it's not by design, but it's by error. Please bear with me. I have to get back into the emergency. I wish you guys, let us start wishing one another a happy holiday. You can buy a book for a child, not just buying things. Things are perishable, but let us design something with the hand. You can just draw a heart, learn to draw a heart or something that somebody said to you. Coin something around that statement and do something and send it to that person. We need to all do that to uplift our spirit, even though we're doing all the time, but this is a special time of the year that we want to uplift all our spirit. I thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, the Melanies.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
You guys are beautiful. I love
you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.